Hey there, this is CELO. Part 4 of my 2020 project, Distant Lands, is out now. Yeah, so my real name's Carl. I'm originally from the UK, but I'm based now in Aarhus in Denmark. I've been into drum bass since the late 90s, after going to my first rave back in like 97. It was a Helter Skelter up in Milton Keynes, and I just absolutely loved it. And then I've been hooked ever since. I bought my first tape pack straight after that, and then didn't take long before I started getting into buying records and buying my own 1210s and started mixing. Yeah, so I think it's pretty obvious that I'm massively into the old school, and that's massively what inspires my tunes. And I just thought I'd quickly give a little behind the scenes video showing how I made some of the parts in this new track, Distant Lands. So let's check it out. So to start off the track, I started off with a MIDI channel where I've stuck a 808 sample into Simpler, and I've basically just drawn out some G notes. So I started with a G1 and then I've got lots of G0 notes. And this is what it sounds like. Probably barely hear it because it's really, really low sub. And then what I did was I rendered that out into two different tracks. So I've got this 808 sub 1 and this 808 sub 2. So the 808 sub 1, that's the G1 notes, that's the higher G. And all I did really was I've literally just put a compressor on it just to bring out the sort of like the higher frequencies of the sound, so it really sounds distorted as hell. And I just put like a little fade on the beginning of the sound just to remove that little pop at the start. And then I've done exactly the same thing for this 808 sub 2. So this is the G0 note, so the lower note. I've just stuck a compressor on it again, and then I actually just changed the pattern ever so slightly compared to the original MIDI channel, but this is what it sounds like. So that compressor really bringing out the sort of higher frequencies. I then set each of these sub 1 and sub 2 channels to send only. And what I've done is I've got loads of channels here. These 4 channels here are all taking the signal from sub 1, and they're basically just all distorting the original signal slightly. One of them is actually, let's say, a sub layer, and then the other ones are just more sort of layers that sit a bit more in the mid-range. So I can try and see if I can play that on its own now. So it's still very subby, but it's just got some extra sort of like slightly different layers of distortion and reverb just to give it a little space. I've done exactly the same for the sub 2 layer as well, but this one I've got a few more layers, and some of these focus a bit more on pushing the bass out to the sides a little bit. So when you listen to this track in headphones, when you hear the second bass note come in, you can hear it sort of pops out a little bit to the sides, and you can hear this like really crunchy distortion bit. I'll just play it through so you can hear it. Right there. And that just sounds really cool on headphones. It just adds an extra layer to the bass. And then it was just simply a question of running that together with some sort of simple classic breaks and lots of other very clean samples. So that's something I really try and focus on. Is I like to have my music sounding kind of old school, but it also needs to sound quite clean and modern. And of course all those old school kind of like samples for the effects in the background as well. And then those rising strings kind of add like a little bit of tension for the next section of the track. Thanks for watching this behind the scenes video. Distant Lands is out now on Bandcamp, Spotify and Apple Music, plus many others.